Hello and welcome back to Between Clean Sheets. I'm Cheyenne. It's week 4 and DC United is on the road in Columbus, Ohio. I invited a handful of friends to join me for a drive-in watch party near Audi Field. And because they come from varying levels of knowledge about soccer, I solicited a few questions to answer here and to lay a foundation for a beautiful tailgate. We'll talk DC United, US Soccer, the 2026 World Cup, and their opponents this afternoon, the Columbus Crew, and their new stadium in downtown Columbus. Did you hear I visited it? Let's get into some questions. How competitive is DC United in the league? Are we good? We are currently in a rebuilding year. We fired our decade-long head coach in the fall and are currently trying to adopt a new identity. Under the new coach, Hernan Losada, we are supposed to play quick, high-press soccer. However, half of our roster is currently injured, and many of those injuries came from adjustments to this new system. Losada has reiterated a couple times now that our guys were wholly unprepared and unfit for the 2021 season, and many of them are paying the price for it. It doesn't help either that we have a lack of defensive depth, which makes high press and quick transitions on the attacking side quite a gamble when you don't have that backup plan, you know? It's hard to say how we'll do league-wide because we only play one Western Conference team the whole season. My guess is that if our guys are healthy and well by the end of the summer and we take full advantage of the transfer window, that we will definitely make the playoffs. That's all you can ask for. Does DC have a star player? Not really. A lot of European soccer stars, a lot of European football stars come and play the remaining years of their career in the US. David Beckham did it at LA Galaxy in the mid-2000s. Wayne Rooney did it with us a couple years ago. We don't have anyone like that right now. Domestic star? I'd say we do. Paul Arriola, who's a great attacking mid, US soccer star, and is a crucial part of our lineup. One of the first major spends for DC United, and I'm pretty sure he's still one of the highest paid guys on our roster, would be our domestic star. The unfortunate thing is he was sidelined all last year with a partially torn ACL, and he's currently out with a quad injury. If you're looking for someone to pay attention to during this game, I would say look no further than number 31, midfielder Julian Gressel. He's the guy that'll be playing a lot of big crosses into the goal box and is probably one of the more fit guys on our team. Julian Gressel, number 31. I'll point him out to you later. How many US men's national team players have played for DC United? A lot, actually. Way back in the day, DC United used to be the club for some great US soccer players. Jeff Agus, Ben Olsen, Eddie Pope, Tony Santa. I'm sure I'm missing a few. Nick Raimondo. Currently, the two guys on our roster who have received the most recent call-ups to the national team are both on the bench. That's Paul Arriola, who I mentioned earlier, and keeper Bill Hamid. Good question. What is the likelihood that FedEx Field is selected as a host site for the 2026 World Cup? This is an interesting one. The 2026 World Cup is going to be hosted by North America, and 17 US cities have put in formal bids to host. Only 10 are going to be selected. I would put cities like Los Angeles, Dallas, New York at the very top of that list. They will definitely be hosting something. Now, Tier 2 and Tier 3 is where it gets a little murky. Anyone's first thought about DC is that it's a great international town for an international event. However, it all comes down to infrastructure. Have you been to FedEx Field? It needs major renovations. Not only that, but it's in the state of Maryland. Also, Dulles International Airport in the state of Virginia. The public transportation that connects those areas and the things required in order to make Washington, D.C. a formidable host city is just not something that I see happening for our town. It will cost the taxpayers a ton of money, and the ROI, it's actually pretty small. The mayor of DC also mentioned she'd be willing to add a new stadium where RFK currently is, and even without the World Cup, that's actually been a huge ordeal for the local residents on Capitol Hill. They don't want a stadium there, especially an NFL-sized stadium, because it lays dormant for 3/4 of the year, is a major cost for taxpayers. Personally, I don't think it's gonna happen, and I wish DC would have taken a page out of Chicago's book and foregone the entire bidding process altogether. We'll know by the end of the year. FIFA is gonna make its decision at the end of 2021, and we shall see for DC. Good luck, but I'm not optimistic. How many single players are there, and can you introduce me to one? I don't even have a boyfriend, so I'm not quite worried about you yet. But thank you for the question. All right, last. Who are we playing and are they good? We are playing Columbus Crew, an original MLS team based in Columbus, Ohio. They are the reigning MLS Cup Champions. Are they good? Well, they've had an imperfect start to the season because winning the cup last year granted them a spot in the CONCACAF Champions League, which is an annual competition between clubs in both North and Central America. So they've already played almost twice as many games as every other team in MLS. That is great for on-field vibes, but not so much for injuries and exhaustion from travel. In fact, they traveled all the way to Monterrey, Mexico on Wednesday and were knocked out of the quarterfinals. So I imagine they're going to be pretty tired today, not to mention the injuries. When they're in their usual form, they're great. Little changes were made to their roster from last year, and they possess the ball very well. So they command the pace and tempo, and I imagine they'll take a lot of steam out of DC United. It also doesn't help that we can't even fill our bench. So, the Crew are hosting DC United in one of the last remaining games in their current stadium. Once called Mop Frey and now historic Crew Stadium was the first and I guess oldest soccer-specific stadium in the country. They're building a new stadium in downtown Columbus, and I got to see it the other day, although it is still very much under construction. So, you want to see it? Okay. Having just toured Cincinnati's stadium, which opens mid-May, this was a completely different kind of stadium tour. This southwest entrance and what's to the left here is going to be a ton of office spaces, residences, entertainment, and eventually a premium parking area for season ticket members. Now, we are still very much in an active construction site because the stadium doesn't open until July 3rd, so pardon all the dust and the shaky video. I was mostly looking out for my health and safety, but the view from the field is awesome. Downtown to the right, Nordecke, the supporter section to the left. They had literally just laid that grass a couple days before we arrived. We're making our way to the northwest entrance where you can access your Nordecke supporter section seats, and they will actually have their own private entrance. They have a ton of awesome things planned. I didn't take a video of it because it was still being built, but suffice to say it's going to be a really awesome place for supporters to hang out. Coming around to the opposite side are the club level tickets. This has about 2,000 person capacity, and we can see from across the way all the suites that were still being worked on. Eventually, all of this will come together very beautifully, but as you can see right now, there's a lot to be done. You can hang out in this little bar space and then sit in your seat that's in front of you. This will be the club shop in the southeast part of the stadium, and you can see in the distance there are these floor-to-ceiling windows where an entrance will exist for a majority of fans entering. There will be a bar and a restaurant there. And then this space that you see right here is going to be an outdoor hangout space. They haven't decided whether it's ticketed or unticketed, but it will be an awesome place to hang out, grab a drink, and watch literally anything on the video board they'll have. This is a view walking down the concourse of the space I just mentioned, and to be quite honest, there is literally no bad spot in the entire stadium. And you can see that as we walk up from the south side that looks right out onto the field and straight at Nordecke. To give you a comprehensive view, this is what it looks like to drive up onto the stadium from 670 coming from the west. And if you notice that smokestack, an interesting fact I learned is that they have a 10-year lease to decorate it with whatever they decide. And as we exit from the same place we came in, I'm really looking forward to seeing how the $315 million that went into this stadium will be put to great use. I'm really excited for Columbus. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to like, subscribe, and be on the lookout for additional travel vlogs, stadium tours, and general chats about MLS. Thanks so much for watching. Peace, love, and soccer.